How it was refereed in Bloemfontein this year. And this scenario the Lions will be looking to address tonight, as they also look for win number 4 and for Test players to stick their hands up now and demand inclusion. The whistle goes, it's Stephan Terblanche for the Sharks. And you can see the swirling nature of the wind there, and Jamie Heaslip having to adjust for that. Here's Mike Phillips. Taken by Terblanche, who certainly used the elements with that first kick of the evening. Little wrestle forward from Dion Carstens, the man released from the Springbok squad, but the breakdown victory is the Lions. It's taken by Shane Williams, who stays in play. And that'll be a penalty. Jonathan Kaplan clear in his instruction, get away from that tackle.
Very important player for the Sharks, Stephan Terblanche. A lot of people thought he was past his best. Of course, knows an awful lot of these Lions from his time playing in Wales very successfully, but he's been brilliant in Super 14 this season. Oh, well, that's a kick.
And nothing that Terblanche can do about that. Lee Byrne, of course, against a former Osprey in Terblanche. And here's a breakdown that the Lions won.
Brilliant angle kick as well. Shane Williams beats somebody there. A couple of men beaten, lays it back quickly, getting his hands on the ball early, but it was a brilliant kick from Byrne off that left foot on a tight angle.
Here's another Lee. Lee Mears throws to his captain. And the Lions look to get that maul going. Against a strong pack tonight, despite the absentees. And again, the referee deciding that it's the Sharks who give the penalty away on the wrong side there, and the fiery Cockets got straight involved, the scrum half, along with Daisel.
Daisel's a very good player, isn't he, in the emerging box squad. Now Ronan O'Gara, it's interesting, isn't it, because there is a hell of a swirling wind. It's a difficult kick, but I think Paul O'Connell is going to say go for it.
Mate, I'm talking. You're just listening now. When you've got the penalty, walk away from it, because you don't want me to turn it around, because you're in up that side of the field.
I say, you know, before the game, talking to Warren Gatland, he was very complimentary about the control of Jonathan Kaplan. Regards him as one of the world's leading officials. And the Lions, they are going for the jugular early on. Really good tight drive there. Good start for Mears and O'Connell.
Partly that decision to go for the corner will have been made by the strong wind, but it's still aggressive. And here's Mears to throw again. And this time it's Tom Croft who goes up, with no Stephen Ferris now on the tour. Big night for Croft. He went so well last Wednesday. But that's pretty aggressive too from the Sharks. They've hit back hard there. But the Lions go again. And Croft was right in there again. Wyn Jones has come out, Alan Wyn Jones. And the drive is strong again. Gethin Jenkins is there. But turnover, says the referee. Nothing coming back, just short of the line.
Frustration for the Lions, but excellent defence there from the Sharks. They repelled the first catch and drive pretty well, and you can see the Lions clearly have done a lot of work on this aspect of their play in training. Defences finding it difficult to cope with, but the Lions just couldn't get the ball down to ground. Body position slightly high, and that's a really good plus there for the Sharks defence.
The Sharks themselves don't mind a rolling maul. We saw that against the Bulls in the Super 14. Keegan Daniels score before the law change. Now they'll have to defend well.
For the Lions, they will want a competitive scrum from Jonathan Kaplan. Their feeling was against the Cheetahs, Wayne Barnes allowed them to get away with something a little bit too much. Lions think until they get to the tests at least they have a real edge in the scrummage department.
Carstens and Duplessis, the two props, both Springbok internationals. Cockett to put in. And here goes Keegan Daniel off the base of the scrum. He is very quick, but the Lions were quick to pounce on him. Here's Cockett, who started the Super 14 so well, was getting rave reviews. And got that one match ban, lost his way a little bit in the tournament. And then away by Monty Dumond. There's a bit of a utility back. He's standing in at 10 tonight, and a lot of responsibility on that man's shoulders because of that.
Yeah, the problem is for the Sharks, one of the reasons they didn't make the Super 14 playoffs, Ruben Pienaar was out too long and they didn't have the cover. Dumond, as you say, is under pressure. I must say Cockett as well. He did lose his way for a bit, but at the final round of Super 14, he gave a wake-up call to Fourie du Preez, and that is no mean achievement.
He was watching from the stand tonight. Wayne Barnes there, the referee's assistant behind Lee Mears, having refereed the match in Bloemfontein on Saturday. Not without a little bit of controversy either in the aftermath. There's Jenkins to Phillips, and now Ronan O'Gara gets his hands on the ball, and through the hands of O'Driscoll to Bird, onto Fitzgerald in his favourite wing position, given a go out wide tonight, and he was moving there. Player on the wrong side is Blanche, and he felt that. O'Gara looking for the cross-field kick. Is there anybody out there? Well, it's about the bounce now, and it's the two props, and it's Yanni Duplessis taking no risks.
Well, Ronan O'Gara's got a little bit lucky there because he didn't look up. If he had looked up, he'd have seen he had absolutely nothing wide. He was right in the sense that this is the move beforehand, that the Sharks had been sucked in, but there was no width on the Lions. Fitzgerald looking very sharp first of all. Sharks were pulled in, but Duplessis got no option there at all. But if the Lions had had a man standing wide, a Croft perhaps, then that would have been a try. But O'Gara, he didn't look up, and he's a bit lucky with the position. Now, we've seen two catch and drives that have been very hard to repel.
Mears accurate again. And this a strong start by the Lions in the set piece, and with their rolling maul, the forwards keep coming at the Sharks.
No boots!
Mike Phillips, well, the ball is coming back for the scrum half. He's going to look for the big forward. Alan Wynne-Jones waits again. He's supported by Adam Jones. Once more, it's there for Phillips.
Drawing defenders in all along.
And then the short drive. Repelled by Johan Muller, the Sharks skipper. Phillips again. Croft again. And through go the Sharks. The ball was out. Kaplan, the referee, was happy with that. And he's not happy with the way the Lions then tried to retrieve it. Penalty to the Sharks.
I just think Mike Phillips should have been a little bit quicker then. He put his hand on the ball and he almost looked for the penalty. That ball needed to be whisked away. And again, the Sharks survive a real hammering on their try line early on. But yeah, you just felt there that it wasn't great ball, but Phillips had to get that one and move it away with the right hand, and a chance goes.
Sauter Blanche there just checking the wind. And it is a powerful one. And he's won 37 caps for South Africa. As you were saying, in fine form. There was Phillips' chance to get it away. Through went Stephen Sykes. And his fellow lock Muller there as well.
Split second too slow there, Phillips, and it cost the Lions.
Thrown by skipper Badenhorst, but over the top, and then it's O'Gara to Roberts. Jamie Roberts looking for O'Driscoll, who's trying to get with his centre partner to do an awful lot of work to stay with him, because Roberts really did power on there. Now O'Driscoll pops up again, and that, disappointingly from a Lions point of view, has gone behind Fitzgerald, but plenty of promise there again on the charge from Jamie Roberts, and O'Driscoll curses the missed opportunity.
Battering ram there, Jamie Roberts, so hard to put down. Criticism of some of the Lions forwards, they just went to ground too early in Bloemfontein. You couldn't criticise Roberts for that then, and you certainly couldn't now. That was a brilliant charge.
Bit of pressure now on Badenhorst, having totally overthrown the last one, and Carstens is trying to get back there as well. Jordaan's off the wing. That has to be a 5-metre scrum, and is.
Well, in the context of the first 10 minutes, the Lions really need a score here because they are all over their opposition. Great pressure from the Lions there. Wyn Jones is putting pressure on. You can see how quick Croft is through there. Great collective from the Lions. No easy ball for the Sharks. And an outstanding attacking situation here.
And the Lions' share of possession too.
Touch, pause, go.
Oh, you just think, put Jamie Roberts on the gain line here and say, stop me if you can on a flat ball. He's standing well in front of O'Gara.
Gethin Jenkins has seen the power of Andrew Sheridan on the loose head. Went well himself against the Golden Lions last week with Gethin Jenkins. And John Smith, the man in the jumper, just in shot there, the South African World Cup winning captain, of course. Will he be going up against Jenkins or Sheridan in his new tight head role? Will reset here.
Ian McGeechan and Rob Howley, Warren Gatland look on. It's very interesting. Everyone's assuming that Roberts is such a dangerous man there. But of course, we've seen him carry once or twice. And this is the perfect time to use the decoy. And Brian O'Driscoll is very wide off him. He's got Byrne and Williams. Causes real problems for a defence when there's just a live wire challenge like Roberts, and you just think we have to keep an eye on him.
And Fitzgerald is round as well, but it's a free kick and it's tapped by Heaslip. And Heaslip looking to be driven over here. Referee happy that the ball was held up. He doesn't need to go to the television match official. It's good work from the back row from the Sharks and how it needed to be.
Excellent defence. Daniel and Daysal, the emerging Springboks involved there. But isn't that great refereeing from Jonathan Kaplan? Gatland, he said he just knows his mind, he trusts himself. No worry about is that a try. He just said, no, it's not, scrum. Quick as you like.
Crouch, touch, pause, go.
That gone all the way through, it has. Right down the tunnel, great counter-attack ball possibilities here. The Lindblue goes. And good support there from Strauss, the centre too, and Botez on hand. Here's Cockett to Blanche. He's put a lot into that. That could bounce on and on. It does. Way overhit there by the fullback.
There's a lot of swirl in the ground, but Stephan Ter-Blanche just got all his angles wrong there. And that's a great shame for the Sharks because they lifted the siege. Well, the Lions slip there. They'll be very upset. That one goes straight through. So that should have been a reset. And there you can see a decent spiral, but that ball was meant to go 15, 20 metres towards the left of where it landed. It should have been aimed about 10 metres from the try line. Instead, it's just rolling out. And the Lions again have a very good attacking situation, and they're banking the short side again. Roberts right behind Ronan O'Gara. There you can see him, 15, 10 metres behind him.
Touch, pause, go.
He slipped to Phillips. Now O'Driscoll to Blanche. Shane Williams had followed up quickly, as you'd expect. Good pressure. O'Driscoll calls for more.
Yeah, good work from Shane Williams. I don't think that was the greatest option from the Lions, but if your kick's not perfect, and it wasn't a bad kick, then if your right wing goes chasing at 100 miles an hour, it gave Ter-Blanche no time, and at least the Lions keep the ball in a good attacking situation. Good start for Lee Mears, good start for the Lions jumpers.
So many years a benchman internationally, Lee Mears, but getting himself into pole position here. And what about Ronan O'Gara? Chance to play alongside Mike Phillips tonight. It's good play from O'Gara, and here's Mears again. Phillips to Roberts. Already scored 2 tries on this tour, Jamie Roberts. Mike Phillips to Gethin Jenkins.
Get up there, get up there, get up there!
Trying to be a little bit patient here, the Lions. Work the opening, but maybe too patient. And holding on the decision this time.
7 on his feet, all right. Off you go. Off you go, please. Off you
They're
go.
going to be so disappointed with no points in the first 15 minutes after all this pressure. And Cockett, it's a penalty, but he just goes long. It's not a great kick.
to Fitzgerald and then Byrne. And Lee Byrne hoists another one of those high balls, which is so difficult to deal with, but Stefan Terbranche did exactly that. And got good support from his forwards as well. Now, there's the chunky Swanepoel in the centre, the rookie of the season in the Super 14 for the Sharks. And he came into the side for Bradley Barrett. Once the international absentees were not there. And that a Lions penalty. There's plenty of whistle early on in this match. Mind you, the players are giving the referee every opportunity to blow it.
It's quite interesting at the moment on this near side to us. The Lions are defending 1, 2, 3 in a row. You can't see them all there, but every time that the Sharks come this way, it's Jenkins, it's Lee Mears, it's Adam Jones there. There's always the opportunity, and Cockett was trying to find that one then, but Jenkins, of course, does defend extremely well. There's great pressure there, but those three have almost in tandem been there, and it'll be interesting with the Springboks watching, thinking, are the Lions going to defend? Are they going to dare to defend against the likes of Peterson and Urbana with your 3 front row forwards marking the 15-metre line to the try line?
We've got a break in play because Ren Swanepoel has been hurt. I saw him charge in to contact. You were with us last week, of course. Louis Ludik of the Golden Lions got injured very early on in that match. And that looks like a nasty blow for Swanepoel, who is trying to stay on. Ludik was stretchered off and he's out of the game for 6 months because of that, but Swanepoel is going to have a try here.
He's a tough one. He can just muscle his way through that. He is a tank, isn't he? I mean, watching him in training, Miles, which he is square in size. Now McGeechan, a lot of pretty good stuff in the first 15, but they will want something to show.
Mears through to the tail. Don't think it was intended for the tail, but it got there anyway.
Roll away there, roll!
Almost total domination in territorial terms now. Can they get the points? Brian O'Driscoll.
Hands!
It's there for Phillips. Now he can locate it. O'Connell, not the best service, but it's gone to Roberts. Stolen by the Sharks. Chance to break away. And it's good, powerful play from Botez. Along with Daisel in the emerging Springbok squad. You can see why there. Another quick tap. Or quick thinking. He went for the kick before, didn't he, Cockett, from the penalty. That's travelling over halfway with Badenhorst. Little chip into space, but the space is covered by Lee Byrne. Swanepoel's gone back down inside his own 22. He will have to go off. It was brave of him to stay out there. Now Terbranche, we saw him hit one way too long, which went dead. That's gone long, but it's also found touch, and it's a beauty.
Caught that one well. What wonderful play from Daisel there in defence. That turnover, quite brilliant. Dumond is strong, but look at the 7 there. Body position over the ball. He's stolen that. And the Lions, they gave Wayne Barnes quite a lot of implicit criticism, but there, that was just a South African Lucy, too quick for the Lions.
That's a worry, Jamie Roberts.
We're going to play. Someone.
Feeling that shoulder. Swanepoel's gone off. Mvovo has come on. Nwazi Mvovo. Roberts, like Swanepoel before, to continue, but we hope not as badly injured. There has been a realignment in the Sharks' back line with Mvovo a winger and Volindlu going into the centre. There's Volindlu now. He'll play in that centre role.
Error there from the Lions. The line out just outside the 22. It was thrown back in, kicked out. We go all the way back to where the ball went, where the ball was booted, and it's an attacking position for skipper Badenhorst.
And that's better from him. Cockett took that beautifully, didn't he? Interception, taking it beautifully for the Lions is Brian O'Driscoll. Now he might have to use the angle here. Mvovo's coming back at him, and he's got him. Still might the try, though, seemed to roll forward, and Jonathan Kaplan saw that, and the home supporters absolutely loved the fact that one of the great Lions, Brian O'Driscoll, was caught there. I think he knew that he was going to struggle.
You have to say, Test match level, Brian O'Driscoll is probably disappointed he doesn't get there. We know he's not as quick as he was when he split Australia in 2001, but that's great work from Mvovo. Also say the Lions didn't bust a gut to get there. I reckon one or two of them thought when O'Driscoll took that with 70 to go, they thought he was in. And then they messed up the opportunity. It's another chance gone.
What a great introduction into the game for the replacement. Everyone wanted to feel part of it. Keegan Daniel just feeding off the base of the scrum. He's going to get that ball away as quickly as he can. It doesn't have the power. He's certainly got the tenacity, but not really the bulk to do anything else. And the ball is cleared by Dumond.
Really hard to believe that after 20 minutes, John Plumtree's team have not conceded a single point. I know the Lions have spurned a couple of kicks at goal, but really they've been camped on their lines so long there, and one must say you felt O'Driscoll had to get there when he intercepted. Great pace though from Mvovo, and as you say, what a way to get into the game. Don't worry about anything technical, run for your life.
Well done by Mears after the tap down from Alan Wynne-Jones. Here's David Wallace. Big night for him, we expect. Should he be fit? Martin Williams, he's been having a problem with his shoulder. We expect Williams to play on Saturday in Cape Town. The 2 sevens. Phillips.
No hands up.
O'Connell. Well played, Alan Wynne-Jones cleared that out.
Phillips has to be a bit quicker there.
O'Gara. Wallace. The Munster combination. And still joined by Roberts. Phillips to Jones. And what a contrast to last week when it was raining points in Johannesburg. This will be a penalty for the Lions. Just wonder what they're going to do here. We're told from the pitch that the wind has dropped a little bit, but it's still swirling, and the Lions are still going for the corner.
Well, the Lions are playing with as much attacking intent as they did in Johannesburg. It's just the defence has been a lot better, and perhaps the accuracy and efficiency of the Lions not quite as good. You know, they've had some good drives from these situations, but they haven't really been able to just shut out the defence, haven't created the space for O'Driscoll off Roberts, but Roberts looks a real threat.
And it's more committed opposition, it must be said as well.
Oh, yes.
And can O'Connell get the pack going again? Home crowd starting to enjoy the Sharks' answers at the rolling maul. O'Connell going low. Here's Phillips, nearly darting through there. He's got Heaslip with him. Once more short of that line, and at last over the line. The Lions have their first score. It is Lee Mears. It is a night to up the ante, and at last they get a try that fits that bill.
Mike Phillips to a tee there. Slow once or twice to get the ball away. He hasn't always been on the heels of the forward, but this is what Phillips does so well. The little dummy, some fine defence there initially, but the ball goes down quickly from Heaslip, and Mears, he's a very alert player. He doesn't have to lunge for the line. He just burrows for the line, and he's over there. And the Lions, you cannot say they didn't deserve it, but well played Mike Phillips, and well finished Mears.
Yes, they really worked for that. And now Ronan O'Gara, who started the tour with those 22 points, and superseded as the leading point scorer by James Hook, but he's also had to wait for the second start. Now, can he convert? Yes, he can. So it's the Sharks 0, the Lions 7. Mears try, O'Gara's conversion.
Well, Phillips there just drawing two defenders in the ball. The offload to Heaslip is good. This time the Lions do clean out, and Mears doesn't go more than 6 inches off the ground, burrows over.
And straight back come the Lions with the whistle's gone. It's a forward pass. Luke Fitzgerald, well, he's heard the whistle now.
He's got a sharp look about him tonight, Fitzgerald, you know, on that left wing. He was travelling.
Has to play in the number 12 jersey at the weekend, but quite rightly given this chance on the wing where he was so impressive.
Oh, it's a long way forward from Shane Williams. Good idea, right and left wing combining. I think you're quite right. Fitzgerald, he is a very talented player. He likes playing centre, but he's played most of his big game rugby on the wing. And I think when this tour party was announced, he was looked at as a potential international, a test winger, not a centre.
Touch, pause, go. Right there, flank, shoulder.
Squeeze there on from the Lions. Well, the Sharks will put in again, but they won't feel particularly comfortable as that shot reveals. Yanni du Plessis reduced to rubble there.
It's a big night, isn't it, for Jenkins and Jones, because they're against, as you say, 2 full internationals. Dion Carson's the only man in the 28-man box squad who is playing tonight, getting a sighter of the Lions' technique, perhaps, to take back to Peter de Villiers and company.
Well, Keegan Daniels being forced into backpedaling, but again, he showed good hands to get it away quickly, and because of that, his side were able to prod it downfield and make the most of what was an easy possession.
Yeah, Cockett and company are on the back foot, and it's quite useful to have a quick little eight like Keegan Daniel, because he can move the ball away very quickly. Sometimes a big lumbering man going backwards, you know, it's like a tree and he's just waiting to get felled. Daniel's a lot more mobile, a lot more nimble.
He got 9 tries in last season's Currie Cup and was the competition's leading try scorer. He is slight, just over 14 stone. Again, it's another big Lions pack, isn't it? Some big men out there up front.
Yeah, it is a big Lions fact. But what's interesting is the fact that some of the smaller men are so dangerous. Burden on, skipper Badenhorst off at the moment, the Namibian international hooker.
Here's Phillips. Burden used to be a winger 3 years ago when he made his Super 14 debut. He was in that position, so watch out for him. Number 16, he's making a tackle there, but if he's in the loose, he can shift. Phillips. Down in the end. And then to Blanche. Dumont. There is space there. O'Gara's got a cross, switches it back. Lee Byrne, bang. Feature of this tour has been the boot of Lee Byrne. About the boot of Tablanche. Seen how far it can go from him, and it does so again.
But he's put one ball out on the field, but Stefan Tablanche is winning the battle for territory at the moment now. He's got his range. That right to left kick of his, he knows this ground so well, and he is eating up the metres. And it's just driving the Lions onto the back foot a little bit.
Just the one try, then scored by this man, number 2, Lee Mears. And to the front to Alan Wynne-Jones. But that seems to be, looking at Cockett's stance, coming back on the Shark side initially, and it was not forward. He did come back, but we'll have a scrum.
Well, we watched this team, the Sharks, in training. They banked the line out, very much waiting to attack the Lions and throw a lot of men in the air, and they've done a good job there. In the end, it's taken, but there's some good pressure comes on, and it's that pressure that forces the knock-on from Wynne-Jones, who will be disappointed. Jumping at 2 there, he wants to secure that, and if he's going to secure a test space position, he's got to be stronger than that at the front jump area.
Take the hit, please, take the hit.
Dr. Yanni du Plessis on this side against Gethin Jenkins.
It's all going down disappointingly easy, isn't it?
Touch, pause, go.
Take the hit, said the referee. It's gone down again. But he's on that far side, Jonathan Kaplan, and he's gone against the Lions. And it looks a mystified Gethin Jenkins.
Kaplan, he's on the other side, but it's Gethin Jenkins he's pulled. He's getting very low, isn't he? Yanni Duplessis. Now we've seen the Lions spurn chance after chance to go for 3 points, but don't expect anything like that from the Sharks. Cockett, a very decent kicker. He will expect to nail this one and get the home team right back in this game.
He's a very decent kicker, very decent player in general, Rory Cockett. And as we said, point to prove tonight. This a useful string to a scrum half bow. He can kick. Let's see what he does with it. Rory Cockett on its way and over, no problem. First 3 points for the home side. A nod of approval from the bench and the supporters. It's the Sharks now 3, the Lions 7. We approach the half-hour mark.
Let's just say that's earned by the defence of the Sharks, because it has been superb against the Lions. It'll be a disappointing scoreline for the visiting team, there's no doubt about that.
O'Gara restarts. Well, Muller was trying to get there first, but he's gone clattering around and still does so as it is lost. Loose play by the Lions. They had a chance there. Now it's the Sharks who can feel possible momentum. Away by Byrne. Good hands there from Stephen Sykes, but he's caught in possession by captain Paul O'Connell. And now the Lions really do pour through, and that's excellent work at the breakdown. Wyn Jones and Wallace and Robertson O'Driscoll. It was quick hands. David Wallace joins again. And that was well won, that ball, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. There was a deflection there, and O'Connell read the situation and reacted really well. They've got the penalty now.
Against Jacques Botez.
Captain. A couple too many at the breakdown. Just have a quick word.
This time O'Gara looks as if he is eyeing up the 3 points. Is he? Maybe not. Botez, of course, he's an archetypal South African open side forward. Kobus Grobbelaar, Heinrich Brosseau, Botez, they're all out of the same mould. The only one that's different, really, the exception, is Schalk Burger, who's much bigger than the rest of them. They're all about 5'10", 5'11", and stocky. And then you've got this giant who plays for the Springboks.
And he's the exception because he's in the squad and they aren't.
Yeah.
That's who they're going for at the moment. A lot of talk, obviously, post Bloemfontein about Heinrich Brosseau again. But that was then. Let's concentrate on now. And Lee Mears after Lee Byrne's kick. It was Byrne, not O'Gara, who went for touch. O'Connell, Phillips, O'Gara again. Here's O'Driscoll. Oh, that's nice. And then O'Gara couldn't locate Shane Williams, which was the clear plan. He was working until that last pass. Here's Phillips again to O'Connell.
Desal is defending brilliantly.
Phillips. Shane Williams. Popping up in midfield like he loves to do.
Three.
Phillips again, he's got Gethin Jenkins with him. As he so often has in Welsh colours. Now in the colours of the Lions, O'Gara. Phillips. Fitzgerald is waiting, but Lee Mears has burst onto that. But he's also lost the ball. Now, where's it gone? The referee says that it hasn't gone forward, so the Lions allowed to play on. And here's Phillips again to Wallace. It was a great surge, wasn't it, from Lee Mears? Another one of those, and the Lions will be over.
Came from depth. That's really good angle from the Bath hooker.
Need to sort that breakdown again, though, and protect that ball, which they have done. O'Connell. Alan Wyn Jones. David Wallace. Getting closer, he's not been held. Now he might be driven over. There's the ball. Phillips again. That was Alan Wyn Jones having a go. Phillips desperately trying to get this back. And an orange Sharks jersey on the wrong side, and once more the Sharks defend their line.
The Lions are settling to just drive them over. There's a lot of attrition and grind. They've decided they could take them up front from close quarters. Here's Wallace going for the line, and again there is some superb defence there. Wallace has not got line fever. He really pulls that one back, but the ball is a little bit slow, and the Sharks defence is set, and that's why we're getting these turnovers. And I just think out wide O'Driscoll and Roberts will be thinking a little bit quicker ball, as they had in Johannesburg last week. Change the balance. The balance is just a little bit too claustrophobic, a little bit too near the forwards at the moment, and it's enabling the home team to defend with great heroism at the moment. I mean, look at those statistics. 80% a ball for the Lion, and Victor Matfield looking on, and he must be thinking, OK, where's the rapier in this team? They're winning plenty of ball, but he and Bakkies Botha will think Lions are going to have to produce more than this going forward to challenge us.
They don't leave each other's side, those two. Sharks playing like this is their first game against a touring team since Wales were here in 1998, a year after the Lions. It means a lot to these players, that is clear. It meant a lot to the Cheetahs.
I think Jenkins having a real problem with Jonathan Kaplan here. Again, going down. No attempt to say stay straight. Interesting to hear what Wally's got to say to that at half-time. Jenkins isn't happy, but Kaplan is definitive in his decision-making there.
And Jenkins will be feeling this is his chance to cement a test place, and maybe it's slipping away for reasons out of his control.
Well, it looks to me like Duplessis is not giving an easy target there, but there's no doubt at all Jenkins is going down pretty easily there.
Von Horst is back on.
Check it!
There he is. Throws in. Good tussle there between the two big men. Alan Wynne-Jones nearly won it back. Here's Fitzgerald. Running into his own man, but no obstruction, says the referee. Phillips. O'Gara. There's speculation in that.
Not a great kick from Roman O'Gara, just giving the ball away to the Sharks there. A little bit too much speculation on that kick, and I think he knows it.
The Lions had the possession, had the positions, haven't been able to build the lead though. Would love another score now before half-time to prevent any anxiety from building. Here's David Wallace getting those legs pumping, like he loves to do. O'Gara, Jamie Roberts to Brian O'Driscoll, might work something here. It's Lee Byrne going very direct, very straight. Was it powerful enough? Just short. O'Gara tried to get in. You can see it coming back on the Shark side, and it's Daisel who comes away with it. But he's rocked by Heaslip and has driven the man over there, Jamie Heaslip. That's good play.
Well, that was brilliant again, first of all, from the blind side. He just saved his team, and he was desperately striving to get out of in goal. You thought this was a try for all money. Good hands from O'Driscoll and Roberts there, but the defence is very good. Sykes does a brilliant job there, first of all. And look at Daisel, number 7. He's down on the ground and he's up quick as you like. Brilliant play, superb play. He carries the ball, but Heaslip, that's a big old hit. That might be a try-scoring hit. Can the Lions finally take advantage?
It's another collapsed scrum.
Well, it's an issue because they do feel that their scrummaging is of a reasonable enough quality to give them a platform to attack from. And at this level of rugby, you can't have this many scrums and line-outs 5 metres out and just have one try in 37 minutes. It will be a real concern. Jenkins just needs to be solid here.
Phillips. O'Gara is the crossfield kick again, and Byrne and Williams are trying to get there, and Williams nearly did, and Byrne might have got hurt, and he will need assistance. as Jonathan Kaplan goes to the television official to check exactly what happened with the grounding. Shane Williams showed great pace to get there. Now, two issues here. Was the try scored, and how is Lee Byrne?
Well, it's gone backwards. That's gone backwards from Williams. Byrne is desperately close. He doesn't know whether he scored because he's taken a bang. But I think that ball goes backwards off Williams. And now, does Byrne just get there in front of Mvovo? He does. I can say, well, that looks forward to me from that angle.
Yes, the ball went forward, so it won't be a try.
Forward.
And Lee Byrne, by the way, did take a nasty knock. You could tell from his reaction he had no thought about whether it's a try or not. He got hurt, but he's all right now. But he doesn't have a try because it went forward off Williams.
It was a better crossfield kick from O'Gara because the Lions had two men wide. They had the numbers there. It was good defending, maybe not quite the elevation required to allow Byrne to just get up into the air there. Williams is not your ideal man for the crossfield kick.
Keegan Daniel and Dumond. The Lions have got 2 minutes now to try and add something before half-time. A half they have dominated, but that is not reflected in the scoreline.
Well, they look fit, they look strong, they look confident, but they're not quite precise enough. The beast looking on there. Of course, you can hear the crowd cheering him. It's universally known in these parts of the world, and he will be the loose head for South Africa, with two other Sharks, Bismarck du Plessis and John Smit, who we've already seen, and all Sharks front row.
Seeing the older brother of Bismarck, Yanni du Plessis, tonight. That's not straight. And these mistakes again starting to add up or not, if you like. And the points not being scored.
And you just get a degree of anxiety as well, and I think that's crept into the Lions game. The first 15 minutes, they just thought, we keep playing like this, the tries will rain in. They've had so much pressure, but there's been some great defence. I must say, Daysel on the short side, the emerging block has been brilliant.
Heads up, please.
In 97, it was 3 tries, wasn't it? Townsend, Cat and Delali, and all those points for Neil Jenkins, which really did cement his Test place.
Other big area apart from the Lions' failure to put the chances away is going to be the front row. I can't wait to hear what Paul Wallace has to say about that one. But there we go again. We're getting penalties and free kicks against Jenkins all over the place.
Dumond. So maybe it's the Sharks for the final attack of this first half. Ball goes out, and that is it. Half-time at the scene of Jeremy Guskett's drop goal in 1997. In the second test then, on the ground where the first test will be played on this tour. The Lions at half-time, well, they've been in charge, but you wouldn't know it from the scoreline. Just the one try.
Make sure they just pull this home team around this park.
Question marks over the depth of the Sharks' talent behind the scrum. We've hardly seen their back line tonight, apart from in defensive roles. Certainly we've seen the pack, and they have fronted up just short of their line with some terrific tackling, some very brave tackling. And the Lions somehow are going to have to try and break that down in this second half. They have the lead and want to power on from here. And not enter into a possible crisis situation that emerged at the end of the Bloemfontein match, which was well avoided in the end, but only just. And that one out on the full. Good work by Luke Fitzgerald. Knew exactly where the touchline was. He's looked sharp.
I'd like to see Luke Fitzgerald get his hands on the ball this second half. Everything he does, and he hasn't had much to do, but there's a spark, there's a real edge to his game. He looks like a young man who just thinks, I've got 80 minutes to play my way in, and I want every chance I've got. Jamie Heaslip now, it's a very interesting backline here. There's two waves, aren't there? You can see Heaslip, Byrne, Fitzgerald behind.
There's Phillips, O'Gara, and there is
The second
the
wave.
aforementioned Heaslip on that second wave. Here's Phillips again. Now that's good. And it's still good from Mike Phillips, who is going to score. Very encouraging, uplifting too from the scrum half. And he scores on the ground where the man that he's so often likened to, Terry Holmes, scored back in 1980. Big Mike Phillips took them on and kept taking them on. Look at that.
Well, that's Mike Phillips at his best. Sykes is standing wide. Phillips sees him. He's not just big, he's quick as well, and he's balanced. He's round Jordan, the winger, and he doesn't need Byrne at all. He's in the corner. Very well worked try, though. I like the way the Lions had a front line and a second wave coming. It was inventive, and it was quicker ball. When Heaslip went into the contact, it was fast. The Sharks couldn't reorganise, and against a disorganised defence, Phillips was just too good for them.
What a perfect start that is for the Lions to this second half. Like at Ellis Park last week, you could see exactly what they were trying to do, and the execution was superb. O'Gara cannot, on this occasion, add the conversion, but it's a 9-point lead now, courtesy of Mike Phillips' try, and here we have another look at it.
Well, it was a great wiping out done. Phillips benefit because the forwards, as we said, really cleaned their man out, and you can see absolutely fantastic play there. The Sharks weren't able to slow it down, and to slow down the attack is 9/10 of the rule defensively. Just watch this now. Red shirts now, and the body positions, these are the key. The ball has gone in, he slips there, but it's down to high. That's what McGeechan wants. That is what Gatland wants. Get a low body position. Boom, wipe your man out. That's quick ball away. Mike Phillips has gone. Try scored.
The Sharks are throwing because Alan Wynne-Jones just got a touch on the restart. Here's Cockett. And Botez in midfield. And there's Andrew Strauss. Very good sevens player for South Africa. And a normal starter with the Sharks in their back line. And Mike Phillips flying through again. He's hungry. And he's hungry for a tackle there on Balindlu. There's a penalty for the failure to release.
It really is an issue, the breakdown. You know, the Lions are genuinely confused and they're extremely concerned. I think more than anything, more even than, you know, 40 minutes of the scrum with Jenkins, which they can work on. The constant capacity to be penalised and to not get those decisions at the breakdown is worrying them. I think it's the captain this time. Goes down. He's on his knee. And again, Paul O'Connell will probably say, I got to my feet. I was entitled to play it.
John Plumtree probably has a different view, the Sharks coach.
I'd be disappointed if he didn't.
The New Zealander who won the Currie Cup with Natal in 1990 and 1996 before heading off to Swansea to be coach there. And of course he won trophies, league and cup. Here's Rory Cockett with a fidgety right wrist. Part of his preparation, every player has his little idiosyncrasy. It's a long way out. Can Cockett get the distance? It's going to be close, just underneath the bar.
Reprieve there for the Lions. Now Warren Gatland looking on, you know, it's so difficult to interpret the breakdown, but Gatland will be saying to his team, if it's tight, be aggressive, be positive, go a long way past the ball, drive from low to high, you've got a chance of getting away with it. But if you seem to be drooped over the ball and killing it in this hemisphere, you tend to get penalised. So let's not just look at the sort of minutiae of it, go positive and go a long way past the ball, you have a chance. That's Gatland's message.
Here's to Blanche. Leeburn. Not prepared to make the same mistake that he made at the end of the game in Bloemfontein. He does continue with that siege gun boot. Jordan skips for the touchline, but I don't think he's fooled the assistant. The flag is up on that far side. He doesn't like it. Of course, we get the benefit, and we should get the benefit of another look. Here it comes.
Well, he's gone out and come back in and he's stayed. It's an interesting call, isn't it, there? He's gone out, no, he's got his foot on the ground when he takes the ball, then he jumps. It's a tight call, and I think the touch judge is right. Wonderful kick from Byrne. You just see it.
I thought Livy had his foot on the ground.
Yeah, I'm looking at a different monitor as well, just the corner of my right eye, and I think he does when he touches that ball. He does, yeah, brilliant officiating. You can't see it, viewers, but believe me, that's spot on.
We'll have a look in a second. Trying to avoid having to give Badenhorst the pressure throw, but he did well. Keegan Daniel slips the pass off to Rory Cockett. And now Fitzgerald will have a little look at the assistant, but that was out and he took the quick throw in. Crowd on the far side don't like it. Here's Williams to Roberts, and Roberts again carries very strongly indeed. Good work from Wallace and O'Connell. Another promising attack building here. Phillips, who scored in this second half. The chip is from O'Gara. It's meant for Byrne. Byrne trying to get down, and it's that man who saved the situation with the tackle back on Brian O'Driscoll. Noazi Umvovo who gets back, but the referee is going back for a penalty.
Well, Jamie Roberts is just barging his way into the Test team. He is so difficult to stop at the moment. Paul O'Connell, he wants to win this game now. He says to his Munster mate Ronan O'Gara, kick it. Now, you can see why the home crowd are very upset there. Great defensive, great attack from Roberts. But once again, I pick up with what Will said at half-time. Could Ronan O'Gara have kept that in hand? He does seem to be kicking the ball away very quickly. Yes, he gets the penalty, but it was great momentum there with the Lions, and it was quick ball, and you just feel keep the pressure on, and the tries will come.
He's got the penalty, and he's the man to take it. Neil Jenkins, of course, will be joining the party as kicking coach after this match. The man who scored 110 points on the tour in '97, 15 here in the second Test win, and 24 here in the game against the Sharks. Well, there's just 3 for Ronan O'Gara, the man that he's going to be working with shortly. And it's 3 more for the 2009 version of the British and Irish Lions. And it's been a strong start to this second half.
Yeah, it has. I still think O'Gara will really want to pull the strings even more, just control this game and just start to put his back through holes if he's going to get Stephen Jones out of that Test team. It's a big half hour for him. It's a big take from Paul O'Connell there at the restart.
Masterful take from O'Connell. O'Gara down the middle. Roberts, of course, will be one of the first to chase, but he's slipped by Stephen Terblanche. It's the Sharks being told to release, and it's a Lions win. Lost by Lee Byrne, though, and then dropped by Keegan Daniel, and a little smile from the referee, a little section of comedy of errors, really, from both sides.
Except from Lee Byrne's position, that wasn't funny, because he was in a hole. Running on the outside of Yanni Duplessis, he would have fancied his chances there. The Lions got the turnover, and then they turned the ball over themselves. It would be a disappointment.
Jonathan Kaplan is now looking at the battle between Jenkins and Duplessis and talking about taking the bind. Penalty. We get there.
He's finally made the 180-degree journey around the scrum, and Gianni Duplessis, the man that Wally fingered, gets pinged. In a metaphorical sense. Not a great kick from Ronan O'Gara.
Oh, Yanni Duplessis is a doctor.
Hold the bind, please. Hold the bind.
You know, and that penalty there, interestingly enough, that was not as obvious as the 3 that were highlighted in the first half.
Here's Mears. It wasn't meant for O'Connell, but he pushes it back to Mike Phillips, who, like Roberts, his fellow countrymen, looking to show his strength now as the game goes on. And the Lions in general looking to get into that driving game. Phillips, good pass out to O'Gara, just drags that one back a little bit for Roberts. Shane Williams arrives, so too Brian O'Driscoll. The Lions will want them back out into the back line. Here's Alan Wynne-Jones. Phillips again. O'Connell again. Phillips to O'Driscoll and O'Gara, who swap places. Now this time it was the appropriate place for the boots, and it's taken by Lee Byrne. That's a fine tackle from Terblanche. The fullback was the last man, and he had to make that challenge. Here's Phillips to Gethin Jenkins. He can Strauss to make that tackle. Sykes was there as well, but not enough to win the ball. Luke Fitzgerald. And shades of the first half now, when the Lions had moments like this.
Much quicker ball, isn't it? Much harder to defend.
They want to secure the points from these attacks in the second half. O'Gara again chips, and it's back off the post. It's beaten everybody. O'Driscoll sprawling on the floor, and Blanche gets it off the field, but no advantage. And Jonathan Kaplan's not happy with Jacques Botes.
It's our old familiar friend, the open side flanker.
Now multiple infringements by the same player. I don't want to have to use a card. Get your feet out the road. Don't make them have to use the boots. Okay? You know what I mean.
Now that's mystifying. If there are multiple infringements by the same player, why do we have to have the warning? Multiple infringements by the same player is meant to be the yellow card. That's why it was created.
Different interpretation there, isn't it? Wayne Barnes very quick to go for the yellow card on Saturday, and of course Stephen Ferris went off, and the Lions really suffered during that period. And you say so they should. They were the ones committing the offence, and not the same response from Jonathan Kaplan tonight.
Miles, it's interesting. I mean, two decent kicks from O'Gara, but his first instinct, everything tonight, is to kick. I feel that the Sharks are trying to press very quickly, and they've got a game plan, but I just think he has to keep this ball in hand. Now the forwards are starting to win and recycle quicker ball.
Not missing with his kicks. Nor should he from there, a man of his class. That's safely through, of course, from Ronan O'Gara. And he's building the lead nicely now, and it's reflecting the play right the way through the match.
Very unusual ball hitting the post quite so high up, and there's Botes with another of those multiple infringements, but he gets away with it for the last time, perhaps.
Burden back on for Baden-Horst. We saw him earlier in the match. So at last, the Lions starting to have a lead. But their play has sort of warranted, although you only get the points that you actually put on the board, of course. Deserve anything for near misses, but it reflects the game now. There's Jordan, the winger, the blonde-haired winger who came in. Cockett, Carstens, oh that's not good, and Luke Fitzgerald nearly in. Willinblue, he made his Super 14 debut before playing in the Currie Cup, and he's in the emerging box squad as well. We'll see him again later on in this tour in Cape Town. Cocker, watched by Lee Byrne, took that back into his 22, so he charges towards halfway. Not his best kick, he has kicked very well on this tour, but that one he just put too close to Carstens. And Strauss. Phillips, he does get himself all over the place, doesn't he? Very physical presence.
It is a bit blunt, isn't it, from the Sharks midfield. No pressure for the Lions, but again, not rolling away in the tackle. This time it's Jamie Heaslip, and it's an easy way for the Sharks to get 10 metres and kick this ball a long way downfield. They have to do faster at that situation. Almost have to exaggerate the speed of rolling away. Maybe that's something they have to do in training, but certainly it is an issue, the breakdown, a huge issue.
Terblanche. man with muscles on muscles. John Daysault against Lee Mears.
You could see, looking at the tackles made there, the Sharks have made an awful lot more than the Lions, and the Lions still in absolute control in terms of possession, but they'll still be a bit disappointed.
Double change being made by the Sharks. We've got Pat Cilliers coming on the prop. Dion Carstens goes back to the Springbok squad then, which is required in his specialist capacity later on in the match. And Albert van den Berg, who's won 51 caps for South Africa, and seems to be the permanent sub these days as the Lions win that ball. Line out win.
Yeah, nice turnover.
Phillips.
And ahead of the kicker.
Yeah, Shane Williams was in front of the kicker Mike Phillips, so it's back for the knock-on. The man to go off for Albert van den Berg is Stephen Sykes.
Yeah, it's another poor piece of play from the Lions. The initial work, Croft gets very high there, into the outside arm. The Lions get away with it, and then Shane Williams, an elementary error in front of his fellow Osprey, Mike Phillips. Those two, you wouldn't expect it. They play every week together, and that's the sort of little error you just shouldn't be making.
There's the blonde hair of Cilliers, number 17. He's given an offence away straight away, and that is the shorn hair of Jamie Heaslip. Now it's O'Gara to Byrne. Cilliers, by the way, another member of the emerging Springbok squad. Interesting to see how he goes. And he goes into Mike Phillips. And the whistler's gone for the penalty, and Mike Phillips, little tap.
Roll your black.
He really does back himself, doesn't he, physically, Phillips, and every reason to.
He loves a confrontation. It's quick ball again.
Roberts and Byrne. Again, the Sharks stand firm. Heaslip, who started all of this, really. O'Gara to O'Driscoll. O'Connell. Phillips. It's going to be a fascinating final quarter of this match, isn't it? Mears. Can the Lions go on from here? They've laid the base. They've certainly done that. Heaslip. O'Connell. Hit by van den Berg.
That ball should have gone. Paul O'Connell did have a chance to get that ball away, and against the Springboks they will need to move this ball. They just can't be so sluggish at contact.
Cockett linking with Botez.
Let it come, let it come.
Cockett again. Dumond. To Blanche knew it was coming. Seemed to go forward.
Well, it's good work from Adam Jones.
Excellent work from Adam Jones.
Initially,
another penalty. Cockett wasn't really on the mark, but don't have a great problem with that. Yanni du Plessis.
Yeah, great turnover ball for the Lions.
Scrappy though.
Coming out.
But at least they'll get the put into the scrum.
I just think this last quarter they've got to work on aspects of the game for the test match, and clearly against the big strong South Africans, as we see the knock on by van den Berg there, they have got to work on just keeping this ball away from contact. It's what they did so well. And again, the Lions aren't a great team, but against the Springboks, if they take the contact as much as they have tonight, Sean Edwards' team will find it hard to get quick ball. And without quick ball, and if they've only scored 2 tries against a Sharks team, missing half their side, how are they going to score tries against South Africa?
I think it's worth just mentioning the names who are missing tonight, and these are the kind of names, along with the balls, etc., that the Lions will be meeting in the Test match arena. The likes of Eddie Jacobs, Odwa Umbengani, Ruan Pienaar, who we saw training the other day, kicking again. JP Peterson, Frans Steyn, they're the backs. Forwards, absent tonight from the Natal Sharks side. Bismarck du Plessis, Ryan Kankowski, the Beast Tendai Umtararua, and John Smith.
Yeah, obviously it's not a test match, and the Lions will be more intense, and the Lions themselves will be at a different pitch for this game. But Just the strategy of their game has to be better. I think Ian McGeechan will be slightly concerned.
On the hit.
Jesus Daysel has put some hits in as well. And that was forward, you were right.
Touch, pause. Too early.
Here's Heaslip. The guy Cronier's come on, and there he is, straight into the match. He's on for Chris Jordan. There's Croft. On to O'Driscoll, who's going. O'Driscoll really going. On to Fitzgerald, yes! At last. The try that the Lions wanted to score. And a step closer to their target on tour because of it.
But Brian O'Driscoll, he couldn't get there in the first half with the intercept. This time he's run a really good line. It comes from Heaslip going quickly. Good hands there. Lovely pass from Byrne. Ball in one hand at the moment, but then the key, he straightens, he fixes Terre-Blanche. Terre-Blanche probably has to go for Fitzgerald there. He just gets bamboozled by O'Driscoll, but he has to stay out on Fitzgerald and leave Cockett to take the Irish centre. But the one thing about O'Driscoll, he causes consternation in the ranks, and even though you felt the scrum half had the man covered, when he has that ball, he's the guy and everyone in South Africa worries about. Yes, Terre-Blanche should have done better, but that's the effect he can have.
Good hands there, Croft, Byrne, O'Driscoll, and then Fitzgerald showing his pace. And O'Gara has swept that one over as well. And that's exactly what the Lions needed at this stage of the game. Well played by Croft. On to Byrne, then O'Driscoll slips his man, and then he's away. Fitzgerald is calling, and it's about the timing on the pass now, which O'Driscoll, as always, delivers impeccably.
I must say, Fitzgerald, he's looked very sharp. He'll enjoy his first try there for the Lions. And O'Driscoll, you will just feel that closes this game out. It gives the Lions a little bit of time now to really attack this game. It was quite interesting, that try. Stefan Terre-Blanche, he's a wily old campaigner, and you can look at him. You just watch him now, and you can see he's looking at Fitzgerald all the time, but O'Driscoll really needs to be taken out. He's got to trust Cockett there. He gets himself caught in no man's land. He's got to trust Cockett to make that tackle. It's very good play from O'Driscoll still. Maybe just the Lions needed that break. Now they can go on.
O'Gara takes a tumble there, seemed to collect the leg of Botez.
This looks like it could be very unlucky.
Ooh. And it sits up for the Sharks, really. Lee Byrne, the one who wanted it to roll on. The Lions now have a lead of, what, 22. That's a healthy lead in any game of rugby. You happy?
I wouldn't be that happy with the performance if I was Ian McGeechan, but tours are very different. You just can't look at the 15 and say, well, we should absolutely hammer them. There are good aspects to the Lions game. Some precision now would make such a difference. But the breakdown's a worry. The interpretation at scrum is also a worry.
Working very hard there was Gethin Jenkins and Phillips. O'Gara spins it that time to Roberts, and Roberts is trying to get through, and O'Gara's gone with him. Nearly got the handoff in. O'Driscoll was nearly through on the shoulder.
Roberts is a handful, isn't he? A vast handful.
Here's Williams to O'Connell. And Keegan Daniel doing his best, but O'Connell is the bigger man, and it showed there.
Yeah, but O'Connell gets beaten. He might be the bigger man, but that is a blow against the Lions captain, because Daniel just says, mate, you're going into touch.
And got the help of Mvovo and took him there.
Not great play from the Lions there. You know, 3 metres from touch. They shouldn't have been going that way.
And Paul O'Connell is going off. Simon Shaw is coming on. when he played here in the 97 match 12 years ago. Then Jeremy Davison got the place in the test a week later. And Ricky Flute is on as well. Jamie Roberts has gone off in midfield, and Brian O'Driscoll has taken over the role of captaincy.
And he's still on the pitch, which you remember at Joburg, he was moaning like heck that he went off.
It certainly was. There's a charge down nearly. Oh, Ricky Flute was very close to making an immediate impact there.
Well, Ricky Flute is bursting to get some action, and no one will be. So frustrated. He looked pretty sharp when he came on in his first game. I think he'd have liked a little bit longer than 15 minutes. He'll be hoping for a start against Western Province, but this could be a long 15 minutes for Flutie.
Man who's won twice here on this ground with Wellington, under John Plumtree as well, when he came back as Wellington coach. Fitzgerald chases this. Terre Blanche, he's not going to get long. Simon Shaw was chasing as well. Players coming off the bench, desperate to make their impression. O'Gara lets that drop.
Very good play from Stefan Terre Blanche. O'Gara pinned him into the corner. There's a slight concern for the Lions. I don't think it's any more than that. I don't think there's a man watching in Britain or Ireland who would hope there is anything wrong with Jamie Roberts other than precautionary, because he has looked very good. I think that will be the first medical update we'll all be asking about at the end of the game, the way that man has played this tour.
He had a shoulder problem before he came out here. Of course, he also fractured his skull against Australia and played on with that. It's made of tough stuff. Here's Fitzgerald. Just a slight loss of control, but enough for the whistle to go. 2 second-half tries, one from Fitzgerald, the first one from Phillips, and of course Mears in the first half.
I mean,
Shift far side, please.
two tries, one of them converted. You end up with a score of 41 points to 3. The Lions can't complain, even against a half-strength Sharks team here in Durban.
They've certainly been up for it, no doubt about that. Typified by Daisel, but it's lost, and it's Heaslip, and it's Shaw and Croft.
Heaslip's had a good second half, hasn't he?
And Croft too, with that link in the try. Here's Flutie looking to test out that knee. Phillips with Umvolvo coming through, and the forwards piling in as well. But it's well respected, the ball there, but not now. It's there for Mears. O'Gara, O'Driscoll floats the ball out to find Lee Byrne, and Lee Byrne pushes through the gap, and Lee Byrne's going to take some stopping here, cuts back inside. Can he roll on and score? He can. Now that was really good from Lee Byrne, and the Lions are pushing on.
He picks the loveliest line for full-back, anyone in the Northern Hemisphere. You remember a try he scored in Wales's defeat in France. Not quite as slick, but this is good. And again, O'Driscoll then with a lovely floated ball. That's a fine fend off. He's just too quick for the cover. And he's aware what he's doing there. He knows he's just got to check Monty Dumont. The handoff just takes the forward out of the equation. He comes off the left foot, fixes his man, and then he just rolls over for the score. He's looked dangerous. Might just have cemented his place in the team. It's going to take a lot from Rob Kearney to get him out now. He's had a very fine tour.
It was a 30-point margin of victory, wasn't it, in 1997? So the Lions nearly up to that. Be even closer if this goes over, which it will do from Ronan O'Gara. That is becoming an exceedingly reliable boot from the Irish.
Well, you saw outside O'Driscoll, and they were hoping that he was going to give the man and ball, but he had a lot of time Players have decisions. He made the right one, the pitched pass, Byrne did the rest. Shaw claims that one.
Matthew Rees on, Phil Vickery on.
Run away,
He slipped running his way into the Test team as well, you know.
Phillips, O'Gara, Flutie. And the Lions starting to run now. It's the opposite of what happened on Saturday when they took the chances early on and then lost their way. They're starting to take the chances now as the game goes on. And they've taken some breaking down this Sharks side, and the Lions will respect that. They'll have wanted it.
Yeah, well, they've defended very well, but so often in games when you tackle as much as the Sharks have, it pays in the end, but it's still at the breakdown, the line's not quite as precise. And the Sharks still putting big pressure on, and now we get a flash point.
I don't want anybody doing anything silly here.
Well, we apologise for this at the moment. Someone's trodden on a cable somewhere. No doubt. Apologise for the loss of pictures. We'll get back to them as soon as we can. But the Lions much better in the second half, Will.
Yeah, it started great try at the start of the second half.
Yeah.
Simple call off the top line. Use your power runners to hit them up the middle. Phillips picked up off the outside. Nice diagonal run. Got them off to a good start in the second half, and they followed on from there.
Yeah, very much so. Phillips is that's what you want from Phillips, but he's got to curb his more aggressive instinct as well, because they're going to go after him. But really, been very effective. Heaslip for me has been a key performer in the second half. Really has been dynamic around the field.
OK, we understand that we can get ourselves back to the commentary team across in South Africa. More from us at the end of play.
Put out by Terblanche.
He's been composed again, cock it off. A frustrated man, he thought he might be an emerging Springbok. It hasn't happened, but he's played very hard today. He's scrapped, he's a real fighter at the base.
Big burden to throw in. And he does that well. The converted wingman. There's new scrum half McLeod. And Cronje, his fly half. Youngsters getting a go.
Good pressure, Simon Shaw. Lions have been much better in midfield defensively this game.
Shaw's been covering the field since he's come on. He's flying up in defence again, but the ball goes the other way that time. He makes another tackle. McLeod, Cronje, and there's Ricky Flutie. And just when it seemed it was coming back for the Lions there, referee Kaplan gives a penalty. This needs sorting out, doesn't it, that breakdown? It really does.
It's going to be the flash point for the Test series if the Lions would have any chance of beating the world champions.
Daniel. McLeod. Cronje. That's ferocious work from Phil Vickery. Nearly got in there to steal it. Here comes Shaw again. O'Gara's trying to hang on to his man. Here's Dumond. Carsten's back on. There's Daysel. And the Lions will want to defend here and protect their line. Just conceded a three-point penalty thus far.
This is very impressive defending. Sean Evans will love that, but he won't love, again, the penalty conceded by the Lions, undermining their defensive effort.
Just gives the Sharks another chance to go.
I guess it gives the Lions another chance to get their defence in order, but this isn't, you know, a world-class attacking team. Let's not kid ourselves.
It's David Wallace.
Good turnover.
scrum Wallace and then Blair, new scrum half, to O'Gara and Shane Williams. That one going forward on the pass, Shane Williams will be called back.
It hasn't quite gone the way of Ronan O'Gara, has it? Great play there from his Munster teammate David Wallace. Very strong on the floor, that's a good ball. But off the left hand, there's a little bit of space and O'Gara just can't quite deliver there. And again, he's going to be compared with Stephen Jones last Wednesday. It's tough on O'Gara because last Wednesday's opponents were far tamer opposition, but that's the nature of touring, and probably O'Gara has not done enough today to challenge Jones.
Sean McLeod there seemed to have decided it was going to be a penalty to his team. The referee will just reset the scrum. Nobody's fault, says Jonathan Kaplan.
The Lions front row may beg to differ.
And it's plagued the game, this.
Hey, it has. It has. But it's a nefarious old world. There's all sorts to live in that one. Just look at Wallace. Tough.
Every time, this time, it's a free kick to the Lions.
Yeah, first half was all one way for the Sharks, now it's all for the Lions, and that probably tells you something about the fact that someone in the Lions got to Jonathan Kaplan, and Kaplan has probably thought, blimey, I made a haunt of that first half. High ball from O'Gara, it's a free kick.
And the cavalry charge.
Too long.
To Blanche. Berlin Blue. Another penalty. McLeod. Mvovo. Oh, Shane Williams is going to be caught out here because Daniel's got it, and Keegan Daniel can shift. Lovely ball back inside. And then the quick Burden, the replacement hooker, was nearly on the kick and chase. And Jonathan Kaplan doesn't like what he's seen. It is going to be a yellow card.
Yep. At best, at the very best, that was reckless.
Phil Vickery.
Not on the field long, Phil Vickery. And he gets away with a verdict of recklessness, which I think in Jonathan Kaplan's language is fairly generous. McLeod just trying to pick up the pace of the game. Good ball. This is a lovely pass from Keegan Daniel. Beautifully weight. Doesn't Byrne do well. And then Vickery 17. We don't see it.
We go back live. It will make no difference to the result, of course, but the Lions do not want to concede here. They don't want to let the Sharks finish on a high. Daisel, McLeod, and lost in the tackle by Strauss, but referee Kaplan says another penalty.
I don't know what the penalty count is, Miles, but it's huge in the last 20 minutes against the Lions. Huge.
And in the game as a whole.
Yeah.
Multiple, so the next guy has to go as well, okay? You know about it. Multiple infringements everywhere.
Lions down to 14.
Offsides, wide, banana.
It's going to be 13 soon as number 13, Ryan O'Driscoll, has a word with the referee. There's Carstens and Cilliers, McLeod, Daisel, who is not giving up. Look at him, trying to find a way through that. The morass of red shirts.
Excellent defensive work from the Lions. Really strong.
Let it come.
Making up for the absence of Vickery. Blair. O'Gara. And Vovo. And that was asking too much of Volindlu. Simon Shaw wanted to launch it left, but just couldn't get it away from the Sharks cover. But Shane Williams might get away from that cover now as he tripped. He's looking for it. There's Cronje.
Timeout.
And Wayne
Of a
Barnes
flagging against
has
Black.
stepped in. I presume that's for the trip on Williams.
I think so. Shane Williams pointed to the spot where he went
Shoulder choke.
spread-eagled.
Leg.
Deliberately left his leg in.
Yellow. Sorry, it's a trip. Yellow. Which one was it? 8.
Keegan Daniel.
Well, a trip has to be yellow, doesn't it? It used to be a red.
Mind you, having said that, in the domestic season, we were seeing a plethora of trips that were nothing, just penalties.
Keegan Daniel goes.
Hold.
End of game for him. So it's 14 versus 14 now.
15 meters in.
James Hook is on.
Here we go. Well, that is a trip, if ever there is such a thing. And I'm delighted that that's a yellow card offence. It can be so dangerous on a rugby field.
O'Gara off. Lions going for the corner. And one last attack here.
White line's yours. White line's yours.
Play change to the lines. James Hook, jersey 21.
James Hook, one chance to weave a spell. Good line-out ball, Shaw.
Reese and Shaw combine. Here's Hook. Just come on. Can he
Roll away, Black.
produce the last scoring moment to give at the end that the Lions won? O'Driscoll inside, nearly to Reese, picked up by Blanche. Now he's trying to work his way out of trouble, and he's gone down a blind alley there. He didn't panic, and he knew what was on out wide, just couldn't get it to those players. There's Carstens.
Can't leave it, Chad.
Last
Red,
minute of
red.
the match. There's Dumond.
It's outside.
And Simon Shaw keeps getting there to make the tackles. To Blanche.
Credit to the Sharks, but it's sporting suicide. They're trying to play their way out.
McLeod to Cronje. Cronje trying to step away.
Roll, roll, roll.
McLeod again. Simon Shaw, Alan Wynne-Jones, Ricky Fluter, they really are trying to play out of defence here. It is very bold,
No hand, red.
and is now the final play of the match. Still the Lions looking to not just make the tackles, but make the interception, which would just be a flop over from that position. Volindlu to Cronje, nearly an interception for Alan Wynne-Jones.
That's fine.
Then it was Rhodes. It is turned over. It is David Wallace.
Now, quick ball, and it must be a score.
Blair wants that quick ball. Comes back. It's a penalty. Certainly hands in that ruck.
I've got the siren.
Here's Heaslip. Nearly lost control, but he didn't. And it's down. The Lions get that 5th score. In time added on, it is now going to be their best ever win against the Sharks or Natal before that.
And I think it's appropriate that Heaslip gets the score. He's been very good in this second half. Just about gets there. Rhodes in with a challenge. Plants that ball second time. Very good second half for Heaslip. He and Phillips, when they picked up the pace of the game down the middle, added a little bit to the Lions. They'll go away from this game, and I think the first thing they'll say in the press conference is, we didn't concede a try, we're delighted, but you have to recognise the Sharks were limited, they had players missing. The Lions, they kept going, they found some quicker ball in the second half. With that, they looked more dangerous, but the breakdown remains a problem, the penalty count remains a problem, and Gethin Jenkins or Andrew Sheridan have to sort out their problem on the scrum.
And James Hook with the drop goal conversion to give the Lions a very respectable total at the end of the match. They had to work hard to get there on a night, once again, of pluses and minuses. Still things to work on, but 39-3 against a Sharks side which included a fair number of players from their first choice Super 14 side is not a bad night's work at all.
No, I think it's about par in the end. I mean, I said 15 points, anything below would be under par. It wasn't pretty, but I think Burns has done enough. Roberts certainly has. I think possibly that was Shane Williams' last chance. He didn't quite get the game that he needed. Heaslip has probably played his way in, and Wallace has put a marker down in the second half for Martin Williams. Lee Mears, he's another who might well have reason to smile. It wasn't a definitive performance like last Wednesday, but it was enough of a performance in the second half to say to the team at Newlands against Western Province, over to you. The next Lions team have a lot of work to do to keep this tour going and to earn their individual places in the Test team.
But moving forward, no doubt about that. 10 days out from the first Test. This match, and of course that match that you were mentioning on Saturday at Newlands against Western Province. They're the two games that will shape the Test team. And as you say, also players putting their hands up tonight, some more so than others.
Yeah, and you just think Western Province coming up. I know Ian McGeechan is saying there's 2 games to go, the Southern Coastal Kings, but they're a weakened team. Western Province is the big challenge. That is the one. I think full-time Saturday, we'll know if the Lions are 5 for 5 and we'll have a good idea